Hello, lovelies, and welcome to the Romance Month of Varieties of Slice of Life, an otaku media podcast. I'm your goddess of love, Zachary, and joining me is the man of many waifus, Jarrett.
Hi.
And the cupid of crack ships, Anthony.
Howdy, thanks for letting me be here.
We are a bi-monthly podcast talking about games, anime, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Our subject for today is waifus and husbandos. Let's get right into it.
Alright, the waifu and husbando culture is very weird. For those of you that don't really know what it is, Zach, do you want to explain it a little bit about it to them?
Yeah, well, I mean, they just pretty much mean, obviously, by the name wife and husband, just in a weird, broken way. And for those of you who are uninitiated in the actual origin, there actually is an origin to the actual word itself. I mean, husbandos is obviously just derivative of waifu, but the origins of waifu is from the anime Azumango Daioh. They have there's a character in that who's like their creepy teacher, and like the whole joke is that he's just absurdly creepy, and they see a picture of like a woman on his desk, and they ask who it is, and just very creepily in like German he says, "Mind waifu."
I didn't know that was where that came from.
Yeah, I've watched Azumango Daioh, and I never clicked in my brain that would have been the first, I guess, mention of it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the thing in the Japanese or the dub, but that definitely became sort of like the universal language for in the anime community for like characters you really like.
His wife is very nice, though.
Yeah, so I love how it came from like a butchered German thing in a way.
And waifu culture is kind of seen as very cringy in a lot of aspects, but like there are some people who genuinely need them in like some motivation in their life. Like I remember reading like some 4chan posts talking about how he didn't feel like he was good enough to like this character, so he like improved himself like physically and mentally to be able to like this character the way he did. Weird effects.
Yeah, and it's not only like an American thing, even though it almost got like obviously like Americans have their own way of doing creepy weird things with it. But it's not only like specifically an American thing, because Japanese people will sometimes even get crazier with it. Like, there's like things of Japanese people just marrying their waifus and stuff. Like the Japanese guy who got like married to like a DS game or whatever.
Oh, I forgot about that. There's
that just ties in with like, I mean, one of the things you hear about Japan is like the idol culture, and I feel like that just ties in very well with that.
And it kind of has to do with their own like work culture too, where it's like they're so alone, so they form an unrealistic bond with something that's never going to be mad at them.
Yeah, it's so stressful in Japan that they just kind of need an unconditional love. Like a character that will all like just love them no matter what.
It's very sad but very interesting at the same time. It's a very interesting case study to like look at that. And I think there's healthy respects of this where it's like you can look up to this character or really like the way that they do stuff and not be like overly obsessive. But then there are some people who, you know, are just way too into it.
Yeah, you can find a lot of stories about things like that, like if you really search for it.
Kind of a small history note that Anthony knows for some fucking reason. When Weeaboo started getting really popular in America, this was like 80s, 90s, furry culture was also rising at the same time. So that's why a lot of American waifus typically, it's like they used to and they kind of are still today, they a lot of times have like cat ears and stuff like that. It's because for some reason the anime culture and the furry community are so closely intertwined with each other. Because furry culture popped up due to Japanese VHS tapes coming to America. Not even kidding. But
interesting.
Super interesting, super weird. Yeah. So then there's some good examples, like the guy who improved himself. Then there's some like bad examples of like, the dude singing "Happy Birthday" to that one anime character, and, like baking her a cake and stuff. It's a whole nother level of just kind of sad. Shall we get into our lists then of the ones that we have deemed worthy of interest?
Sure.
Jarrett, why don't you start us off?
Well, what do we want to start with? Do we want husbandos or waifus? Because we have, I guess I'll explain. We have come up with, at most a cross section of 5 husbandos and 5 waifus. That we feel very strongly about and very particular about, or us personally, like what, like if you were to find an anime, like what character would you consider to be the husband or the waifu for you, sort of situation.
Well, mine's not in really any particular order.
Same.
Pseudo same. My number 1 spot has a special place in my heart, but that's just because of like, it's old as fuck. So yeah, but start us off with whatever one you would like.
Same. I guess I'll start with husbandos.
Also, I didn't necessarily pick 5 husbandos. I picked a handful, but not 5.
I got 2. I got it. Which is weird because I'm the most queer out of all of us. Yet somehow I ended up with I thought I would be the only one with husbandos. Turns out I'm the one with the least.
I mean, I had to think about it. It's like if like if I was in any situation, just be like, yeah, I'd be down with being with these anime fictional characters.
Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, I guess by proxy, yeah. I mean, I guess I would have to be part of it, but yeah.
It doesn't have to be part of it, Jarrett.
No, I know.
A relationship is more than sex. No, I'm kidding. All right. Anyways, continue.
Well, then with that comment, my first one is actually Dandy from Space Dandy.
Oh wow, that's also on my list.
Well, I guess we can. I guess we can help each other out with this one. Okay, so why did you choose Dandy? And I'll go into why I chose Dandy.
I chose Dandy just pretty much because he's a very straightforward guy, and I like that. Mm-hmm. He is charismatic, interesting, and just an entertaining person to be around. Mm-hmm. He knows what he likes. He never takes anything too seriously, and he's very free-flowing and always moving, and I love that.
He's also, like, especially in the later, like, part of the show, that man is really loyal, surprisingly. Also, he, like, I think we talked about this in the Dandy episode, like, his like, tastes, quote-unquote, are, like, that man likes everything.
Yeah.
Like, in, like, a very good way. Like, he's, like, there's nearly nothing that we have found that, like, he does not like.
Hey,
what I love about Dandy is that, like, even though he's, like, all about butts or whatever, he definitely shows like that he could look beyond that and have very like serious and like meaning relationships with people. Like there are times he shows like how he cares about Honey, but like as a person, Scarlet, and even the 5-dimensional woman.
Oh yeah.
The fifth, was it fifth or
Right
fourth?
now, I think she's fourth. Yeah.
Fourth. Yeah, the fourth dimensional girl, and then Scarlet's episode in particular. Like, Scarlet's episode was definitely the moment that I was like, okay, yeah, he's more than just like anime Johnny Bravo
Yeah.
for me. Like he went from being that goofball, just like a ladies' man, to like, oh, okay, there's actually some substance here that's like appealing.
I definitely wouldn't have liked him as much if the episode with Scarlet like didn't exist. Like that episode definitely solidified how much like he cares about somebody if he really has to.
Oh,
I think the high school episode is also like a kind of a good one where he like definitely shows attention to the one girl like for her butt, but then he definitely helps her come out of her shell as a person.
Yeah.
yes.
And then parts where they're just like making her feel like as a more complete person without like him really trying to get any ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a very redeeming quality. He's a player, but he'll settle down at some point in life.
I mean, to be honest, also they very early on they showed us that Dandy like is genuinely a good person with the Mary Space Wagon episode.
Yeah, Companions of Mary Wagon Space Baby.
Yeah.
That's the episode that really showed me that Dan. Like that's the first episode where they show you that Dandy actually really is a good person deep inside.
Yeah.
I will say on my husbando list, I have the only like distinction that I have that's a bit like clear is I have like a dad level husbandos, and then I have like I don't know if this makes sense. I have like dad level husbandos, and I have like relationship level husbandos.
Like you would treat me right, kinda.
Yes.
I got you.
Whereas like the dad ones are just like, I feel like they're a very genuine human being, and they've shown that like if like there was a family situation, like that would be very good and very positive. Like in my head, I don't know if Danny would be a good dad. I feel like he would try his damnedest, but I don't know how great it would be. But I know that like if you were to be with Dandy, you would be good. You would be in some weird ass situations, but you would be good.
Absolutely, Bob.
Like, I don't know how, I was gonna say he's a lot better than Spike Spiegel, but to be fair, you probably end up dead a lot more times with Danny, but you also end up coming back, or it would be a different you. Because like with Spike from Cowboy Bebop, like yeah, the one person that he like loved like died, and then like
well,
it's that. But
see, the difference between Spike and Dandy is Spike doesn't care about himself, but Dandy does, and so Spike is kind of like a depressed piece of shit who doesn't really care about much, versus Dandy, who he has passion and drive and ambition, and it's a very they wouldn't foil off each other. They're good opposites to a spectrum.
Yeah. Do you have any more that you'd like to add about Dandy?
No, I think that about covers it. Zach, if you want to go next.
I mean, just so I don't have to split these two, I kind of want to put them together since they're from the same anime. And that's both of the protagonists of an anime called Witchcraft Works, which is Ayaka Kagari and Honoka Takamiya. I love both of these characters because they are a good sort of role reversal of like gender, like sort of like the gender stereotypes in anime and all that, where like they set up this whole anime like the male protagonist is literally called a princess by by the like all of like the magic stuff, and then the girl is like and he's like kind of like shy and easily flustered, while the girl is like sort of emotionless and confident, and like the strong.
I really like these character designs.
Yeah, it's, like I just like I like more like I like kind of like usually shy and flustered characters. Like main character of Kanakun. Kanakun is really cute. I like him, and then I like the main guy from Momokiri. He's also really good. I just like this kind of like type of character, sort of like more of a flustered guy without being like just straight up like a shy character. And I feel like witchcraft and like just witchcraft works. I really like just the essentially like they just took the gender things and just swapped them around and like they do like really good. The main character is very beautiful. She's got like a nice design, and she's kind of funny with like the whole emotionless thing, which is a character trait I like in some characters, just because that's sort of a mystique to them and lets them be like really funny if they're like kind of humorous.
Plus I do like the height dynamic too. You don't really see tall girls in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the promotional material tends to have her doing like the princess carry on him.
It's a very refreshing take on the old tropes.
Yeah. And then like they even like I like how they do their like they connect them in like a sort of a literal way in the narrative as well of them like having a magical binding that makes any damage that's inflicted onto him transfer to her. So it's like they're connected in a deeper level.
How many just for curious folks out there, how many episodes is this anime?
12. I'm not. The anime kind of gets to a weird place towards the end, but I haven't read the manga yet. I really do want to read the manga just so I can see these characters again, because I love the character. I love those two characters, like that. Like, yeah, it's like that's definitely like my favorite type of like a guy in an anime is just like the woman being the confident one and the man being the unconfident one.
I like it. Guess we'll move on to me, if that's alright with you. My first choice, I should say. Definitely, it's kind of a weird one, and it's definitely the bottom of my list for a reason. Mainly because I don't know enough about this character, but from everything I've heard, I really enjoy it. But it's Robin from One Piece. Just because I hate Robin's devil fruit. It's creepy as fuck.
She's the multi-arm one, right?
Multi-limb. It can be any kind of limb. She just uses arms mostly.
Yeah, she can do any part of. She can essentially clone any part of her body into like any location that she wants, including like her entire person.
Yeah, and
she's like a better version of the one dude from My Hero.
I don't.
The guy who has like all the limbs and he can change out the ends of the limbs.
Yeah, it's like an infinitely better version of him. But I love her design. It's very simple, but it's very like carefree at the same time, and I love that. But I like all the stuff that you say about like her arc from Impel Down. Or Yugoslavia, I'm sorry. That's like I love just her like just saying I want to live. That was like just a great moment. I read a little bit of that. Just like Luffy going to the ends of the earth just because she has value to him. I am kind of sad though that she just doesn't really do a whole lot after a certain point.
Yeah, Oda definitely gave her one of the strongest devil fruits, but then she doesn't really do much. hasn't really had a serious fight other than like her second arc. Like Sky Island is her only ever actual serious fight.
And that's kind of when I like really started liking Robin, is because I had to do a bunch of research on Skypeans and like Sky Islands and stuff. So I learned a bit about Robin too, and I was like, oh wow, she's actually kind of a cool character. She's very like morbid and makes weird jokes and is very awkward, but still kind of confident too.
Yeah, like she's definitely one of my more favorite members of the Straw Hat crew, because she's really funny, because she just has this like emotionless morbidity to her that's really, really funny. And she like her development as a character is very noticeable too, because the first arc of her being with the crew is Jaya and Skypea, and she has a thing where she calls everybody by a nickname, like Usopp is Long Nose and stuff like that. She has a nickname for everybody. But after Innie's Lobby, where she learns that she really has a place on the crew, like the arc after that, which is Thriller Bark, she starts calling everybody by their actual names because she feels like she finally has a place there.
And like that's a good subtle thing, and I love that. And it's just I really do wonder like if Oda's ever gonna do anything with her. Because like as she stands now, it's like she doesn't have a whole lot to go off of, but she has like potential to have really good stories and like just be really fucking strong in general. Like I can only imagine if she learned any kind of hockey, like the stuff that she could pull off. But yeah, I just wanted to keep mine short and simple for the first one. So, Jarrett, back to you.
Who next? I think I'll go with what I have as like my lower end for my waifus, which is Asui from My Hero. I had to labor over the My Hero section. I actually ended up going with Asui, and I was a bit surprised because like I'm very indecisive, so I had to pour over and figure out like what I actually like wanted. And what I realized, like a lot of these things, a lot of them boil down to like a lot of inner strength and loyalty, or a strong will. And also like I had to watch some stuff, and I had to remember the part when Bakugo is actually kidnapped, and she's like the only one who I guess like sees reason in the situation and stands up for her beliefs, and the fact that she feels that with everyone trying to break the law just to go save Bakugo, that they're making themselves no more better than the villains. Which is like from a quick outside perspective, it's just like, what you're talking about is like they're the heroes, like they can do no wrong. It's like, but she brings up a good point. She does stick by, like to a degree, she does stick by what she says. Like she doesn't participate, she doesn't condone it, but she knows that her friends are going to do this nonetheless. So it's just I appreciate her reservedness and her, but also her inner strength.
Yeah. But when I started like reading and then later watching My Hero, I liked Asui. She had like a cute design. Like I liked like I said, I like kind of like emotionless characters. So the fact that she always has like a blank face and is always like correcting people about her name, I thought she was funny. Like she has a really cute design, but she was definitely like one of my lower ones that I liked for a while, because I felt like she really didn't have much going for her. But that moment where she actually just breaks down crying because she doesn't want her friends to like be in danger, like she lost a classmate and she doesn't want to lose anymore. Like that was a moment that definitely solidified that she had like more character that was in there, and made me actually really like her.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of her, because There's a thing I was reading to talk about like her I forget what the exact word, but it was like the way she cares about people and the way that she'll actually try to play to everyone's strengths, and she won't like she's always concerned about everyone, so she always tries to protect them, especially after everything that happens with Bakugo. But she also tries to play to her strengths, which sometimes does put her alone, but she is always trying to help her group more than herself. So it's a good level of selflessness. Yeah, but that was my that was the one that like I had a good feeling about, but I didn't have like a lot. Cause like to be honest, they don't do a lot with Asui, and
Yeah, that's why I really liked the her whole like side episode, is because it really kind of fleshed out a little bit of her character.
yeah, like so far the crowning moments that we have are in the manga and the anime. We have her breaking down at like what Zach said, with her breaking down with the rest of the team wanting to go get Bakugo, and then for the anime, we just have her side episode of her internship.
Yeah.
I think it's still really, it's still one of my favorite like side episodes in general.
That's the best episode of My Hero is a filler episode.
I know, right? It's so good. But yeah,
I like it. Zach.
you want to skip me? It's definitely, I'm gonna be like we're gonna have to skip me eventually. So we either do it now or later.
I'll go. It's kind of a far off ball, but Kurokami, the girl from Death Parade.
wait, the main girl.
Main girl, yeah.
You know, I had pulled out like my entire anime list, and I was going through things, and I seriously considered Death Parade, but just some other characters edged Death Parade out. So now I'm interested to see your reasoning behind it.
So, like, I was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, Decim himself, or not Decim. Is his name Decim? I forget.
Yes, it's Decim, yeah.
He's cool, and like, he has a lot of interesting stuff going for him, but he isn't complex enough yet for me. Yeah. Like, his story is not finished, and that's why I'm not totally like invested. But then I realized, because like I was looking through and I'm like, oh, he'd make an interesting character, and then I remembered the girl's story literally finishes up within Decim itself. So her just whole like tragedy and like her life is a very interesting, and it intrigues me. I have a thing for tragic characters.
You do, yes.
Fuck, as I'm looking at my list. Okay, we got 1, 2.
Robin. I don't know if you counted Robin, but Robin's pretty tragic.
Yeah, no, Robin counts. I have 3 characters that are not tragic.
Oh. So you're like 3 that are tragic. No, 3 that are not.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just kind of realizing that now. Fuck. All right.
I think she's a really good character. The way she like obviously Decim wouldn't have been able to really grow as a character if it wasn't for her, because she's sort of Decim's voice of reason.
Oh yeah, she's like the humanity that he needed.
Yeah, like you know, Decim wouldn't have like learned the things that he needed to without her, because like, you know, sometimes he's literally just trying to get results, but she's the one to teach him that like the results don't always matter.
Like, yeah, that's a beautiful summary of that. Because
he pushes people beyond their limits and makes them become people they wouldn't really naturally be.
And she's like, "Hey, that's not how that works."
Yeah, they become like bad people because they're pushed to this limit, and then she's like, "Yeah, don't do that."
Yeah, and just, you know, and like her backstory that slowly gets peppered in throughout the story itself is really intriguing and interesting, and it lends to like a dark undertones of like, because the character's dead, and we know she's dead, but we don't know why she's dead. And later you find out why, and it's a very sad and tragic thing, but it's a very interesting like way of doing that.
That's stupid for asking. I forget, what was her death exactly?
Suicide.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I watch too much anime, so my brain always immediately goes to Truck-kun. Not another one.
But yeah, she's a great contender for my waifu spot. Honestly, she's a complex, interesting, and I like the little ice skating motif that they gave her. It adds some flair to her character that not a lot of people add, because like ballet is also a good one that you could add, but ice skating is essentially just moving ballet. Where it's
Anthony liking a moody black-haired character. Surprise, surprise.
Oh man, how many of those are? Oh fuck, hold on. How many of those are there? 1, 2, 3. He doesn't really have hair. 4, 5, 6.
Now I'm intrigued by the one that doesn't really have hair.
But yeah, I really enjoy her. I like it's weird, but I really like her character design change when she goes ice skating. It's a lot more like professional and adds a bit of life to her. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, Jarrett.
Who next? Let's go back to the lads, and yeah. So this is actually I'll bring up. I am going to sadly butcher this name because I didn't hear it enough during the show. Like, they didn't say his full name too often. But it's Kyuhi Inuzuka, which is the dad from Sweetness and Lightning. Yeah, remember how I was talking about the whole like the dad?
Yeah, when you said dad, this was definitely my first thought of a character. I don't know why I should. If I knew you were adding like, if I knew half your list was going to be men, I probably would have been able to guess a dad from Sweetness and Lightning.
Yeah, that man, like, that man shows a level of dedication and love for his daughter that, like, I wish that in my future years I can get to like half of that level. Like that, like I know it's an anime and some of it's exaggerated, but like the love and care that man has for his child is just really heartwarming, and it gives me hope that like hopefully I can be just somewhere close to that level, just anywhere close to that. Because like after like sadly his wife passes away, like he just the man realizing that he wants to like genuinely like be able to cook for his daughter, to have her be happy and have her, it's like, well, in his case, just eat a good meal that like she'll care about and hopefully remember with him, and they use this as a bonding experience, is just like I've talked about before, that the whole anime is just so damn heartwarming.
It's a good way of showing a soft side of a character who, because I mean, men in media don't really get to show their soft side. It's a very looked down upon thing, and so having a show about a dude like loving his daughter unconditionally is a very, very good thing.
For me, to be honest, it would have probably been between him or the manga artist dad, but I haven't finished watching the manga artist one. So, but I felt definitely strong about the dad from Sweetness and Lightning, just because like I said, like he makes me want to be better. Like he wants me to, like, I want to be somewhere near that good, even when I have kids.
And I love, yeah, I really like him. He's a very, very, very kind-hearted man. Like most like anime dads, they tend to have like a sort of like a silly level to him, but he's not like the like the manga artist dad is like a little bit like he's got this over the top silliness to him, but Kohei is he's very grounded, like he's a very real person. Like this kind of man could exist in real life, and I love his design where he's like the glass, like he's got these big rimmed glasses that look really good, and then he just has like frizzy hair, like his hair. I mean, his daughter does too. They both have like very messy hair.
Yes.
I have so many pictures of that girl, just like full body shots of her, just like get all of her fucking hair in frame.
Yeah, he's like I just like his design. Very, very good dad. Definitely my favorite dad in any of these anime, like dad animes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like he's not in like a situation where you have to like actually like risk his life like some of the others, but like it's a very normal situation. And then one of my favorite moments from him is the episode where the girl goes out of the house or whatever and like goes on that like, little adventure, and at the end of it he's like mad, like he's upset because he cares.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like in that moment he's not like, oh, it's okay. No, he's actually like he's upset because he was worried that his daughter could be in danger.
Yeah. Yeah, his genuineness really, they did a good job with making him feel very real and very genuine. So kudos to that entire team.
Zach, who's up to bat?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to what's her name? Oh yeah, Kuronuma Sawako from Kimi ni Todoke, or Kimi ni Todoke from Me to You. Just for clarification, her name is Sawako, which sounds very close to Sadako, which Sadako is the girl from The Grudge, which is the Japanese version of The Ring. And the anime is essentially about that she is a girl who she has a very scary appearance. She looks like the character from The Grudge, and everybody treats her like that. But like I love her as a character because she's just so like genuinely like nice, and like I love animes where the character is supposed to be like ugly or whatever, but like it like lets them just do like weird things with their expressions, like the Micah from Blend S, where they give her like funny expressions because she's supposed to look scary, but we don't actually see it as an audience. But like she's like super nice and funny. Like everybody is scared of her. She doesn't have any friends at the start, but she never lets it get her down. And like my favorite just genuine moment from her is that they're in the first couple episodes they have they have a test of courage, and everybody of course elects her to be one of the monsters in it because they'll be like, it was like, oh, Sadako is scary, she'll steal your soul and all this. And there's a moment where she's in the bathroom and she's like nervous, and then these like two girls who later become her best friends throughout the rest of the series, and I love her friends because her friends are like gals, like sort of gyaru girls, like very opposite of her. And then they're like, they ask her what is she like, why she's nervous, and she's like, I can't actually steal people's souls. Like she's nervous because she can't live up to like people's like weird expectations of her actually being terrifying, because she's actually just like shy, warm-hearted girl.
She just looks scary. I can relate.
And like it works well at like and then like the main guy that she like ends up with is like sort of a traditional popular guy, but then she never even though the popular guy is very obviously into her, she doesn't really notice it because she doesn't really think she has a chance with him because he's popular and she's just like the person that everybody's afraid of.
Yeah, I enjoy those animes. Let me get student council.
No, he's baseball.
Oh, that is not one you hear too often in anime. Even though baseball is very big.
I was supposed to say, despite baseball being one of the biggest sports they have.
Yeah, baseball is not one that like gets brought up in, I guess, quote unquote normal anime or like slice of life ones. But if you see baseball in anime, it's more likely going to be a baseball anime. Which do exist.
Yeah. Also, look at the tags. I forgot this anime was a shoujo. I can name the amount of shoujo animes I like on like one hand, and I guess that's one of them. That's all for that.
All right.
Back to you.
Going over to me. So, character that doesn't really have black hair because they don't really have hair is Jet from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
He's because I was thinking, I'm like, who? Because I was like, Cowboy Bebop definitely has to have somebody in here that I like. It's like, okay, Faye was a really close contender for this spot. Again, everyone on the Bebop is a tragic character in some capacity.
Eyeing his best husbando.
Had some problems. That's
No.
No, but I was honestly debating between Faye and Jet because I was like, Faye is a really interesting, like, she's got a huge debt, she doesn't know her past, she's trying to find herself, like what she used to be. But then I really thought about like Jet, and I'm like, he thought he lost his wife, found her again, she didn't want to be with him, his story ends in Bebop, and it sets him back to the beginning because he was alone in the beginning and then he was alone at the end. And it's such a sad thing to see because like he obviously cares about everybody. He doesn't want anybody to leave. He wants to take care of everybody. He cooks, he cleans, he pilots the ship. But he doesn't get to have what he wants. And it's a very depressing outlook on his character.
Yeah, like I didn't think about Jet at that last part. Like, yeah, because he is like the only person that doesn't like go down or split up for the rest of the group.
Yeah. Plus, he's got like fucking smooth ass voice,
He does. Plus, he cooks, he cleans.
He don't smell like onion rings.
Yeah. He can put down an entire bowl of eggs.
We're just gonna work that egg eating scene in as many places as we can, can't we?
We always have to. It's a thing. It's
Get you a man that can eat a bowl of eggs.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that I didn't think about Jet, because I thought, because Cowboy Bebop in my head, I always bring up, in my head, Cowboy Bebop always comes up either by its own or when I think about Space Dandy, because they're made by the same person, I like to draw comparisons, even though they are very different, which it's good and bad.
Yeah.
But I'm sad that I didn't think of Jet, because, you're right, Jet is a very good character.
Well, and it's so the reason why I chose Jet over Spike is because if you look at both these characters, they're both very tragic characters that have lost their loves and they've had to move on from their past and they're doing shady things and so on and so forth. But the big distinction between the two is that Jet cares about himself and other people versus Spike wants results and he wants to end it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way to put it is, and not to make it sound like a pun, but, Jet is, the one that you could tell would have a future after the show, unless something tragic had happened to him. But, because we know how the show ends, we know that he's definitely someone that will have a future, and you wish nothing but the best for them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's I would love to know where he goes in life. But I also don't want those answers because it's never going to satisfy what I want.
I know. It's like that's a part that we want the spinoff of, but we like deep down we don't want it.
Yeah.
Like we would like it, but we don't. Like it's not needed. We would like it, but it's definitely not needed. I can be fine without there being a continuation to Bebop, even though I want to know where like Jet and everyone else.
Yeah. Because Jet, like, everyone has a purpose, but Jet is just trying to find where he belongs, it seems, because he doesn't leave the ship at, like, I get that he owns the ship and all that stuff, but, like, leaving the ship is kind of a symbol, in a way. It's like, Faye went to where she was born, and she's trying to find herself, you know. Ed and Ein just went off to do whatever the fuck they were going to do. Didn't really get the character ending I wanted, but whatever.
Well, they went with Ed's dad.
Yeah. And then Spike went on to fight Vicious, and it was, you know, bloodbath, but you know, he's just still there alone, and it's like the eerie quietness of the ship is a very depressing thing. And I keep saying, like, I keep talking about this character like he's so sad. It's one of those characters where it's like he has so much love to give, and he is such a interesting and complex and fantastic character, and I would love to just like know them in real life. Somebody like this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to you, Jarrett.
I know who I'm gonna say for last, overall, but hey, I'm who next? I guess I'll try and even out. So, it's between those two characters. Yeah, so I gotta have my my customary Ruby character. Both of them have tried to guess what it was. Neither of them were wrong, despite my tendencies. But I actually did put a lot of deep thought into it. I dug deep to look more into more of the character personalities and just how they act around other people. And for Ruby, I did actually go with Nora. Because like I said, like I have a tendency for strong loyalty and like a lot of inner strength, and Nora has that, but she does also have her insecurities. Like, yeah, Nora can be the kind of annoying, like, talks all the time, but she does have that in moments of crisis and everything. She does have that seriousness that like you need at times, and she has that inner strength. Like the fight with the Grim that killed Ren's family and his entire village, and the village that Nora was in too. She literally is the one who snaps Ren out of his bloodthirsty rage to try and kill this thing. She's like, I'm not gonna have you kill yourself over this.
Characters who can hold on to some kind of semblance of sanity during intense moments are very needed in big group shows.
Semblance of sanity.
But someone like I was reading some stuff, and they brought up a good point that like even in when they're fighting as like Team Juniper, so like the original 4 of Team Juniper, Nora put full trust into everyone's abilities. Like she knew when she could wait, and she didn't have to rush in. She never rushed in. She could wait and survey, trust in Jean, trust in Ren, and trust in Pyrrha, and then she could go in when she's needed. She never was the cause of a problem. She was trying to be helpful. And she tried to do her best to know when that was, and trusting in her other teammates on when to work with them and how to be best used. And she shows like great strength, because in the more recent stuff, when Ironwood is trying to separate Atlas from Mantle, Nora, being an orphan and being downtrodden, immediately goes to the defensive of Mantle and telling her, you can't do this. You can't just abandon everyone because they're not Elysian, or because they're just not on Atlas. you can't screw these people over just because they're in what would be the lower, in more ways than one, lower part of the city.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate her strong values and her extremely strong loyalty, and that woman has a lot of love to give. Even if the person she loves is... He's coming around, but man, that Ren has some issues that he's working on, but like she just has like an endless well of love for him. And it's just it's heartwarming. It's nice to see. Despite all the shit that goes on in Ruby and the darkness and sadness, like Nora is genuinely a nice, hopeful beacon. Pardon the pun, but yeah.
She's one of those characters where it's like, this is the unconditional love character.
Yeah. She's that, but not in like I've seen that one done, not bad, but I've seen that done like too exaggerated. Like she was kind of that in like the school, but like once they got out of the school and things got more quote unquote real, then it developed into more genuine than just like playful, more or less banter.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Back when it was like just more of a school thing, she was like definitely the Genki girl like archetype, but
Yes.
but then but then she starts to get like more serious as the series goes on constantly.
I am curious as to where her character is going to end up.
Oh, I loved her because, spoilers, considering that this just happened, quote unquote, recently happened. But there's a part where because Ren's being Ren in this season, she's like, she says the line like, "I don't know who I am, like without him." It's like she's like, the only thing I'm good at is breaking things, or being electrocuted, and she's like, and then in the fight she's like, "Well, I'm gonna do what I do best," and she just busts through an electrified door, like currently like badly like scarring herself at the moment. But it's like,
hasn't at some point she said like, it hurts every time still, like I still feel the pain?
Yeah, something like that. There's also the same girl that said that she got struck by lightning, and that's how she found out about her semblance. I did not know about yours. Struck by lightning. Wait, what?
I was trying to think, is like, do I have anybody I actually really care about in Ruby? And I was kind of curious, like, could one of you guess who would be my waifu or husbando from Ruby?
Weiss, but that would be
Wheatley. No.
I mean, Weiss's mom is my pick, but that's just
Not the mom I thought you would go for. Right.
hell no, man. This fucking checks off every box. Tragic color scheme.
Damn it. Yeah, you're right. Tragic.
Yeah,
Well, I guess the summer was alive, but now.
but no, it hands down has to be Jean.
Interesting.
God, yeah. Jean, yeah, I was really close to considering Jean. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was really close, but I was like, I had already had not what I felt was better options, but I felt stronger about the other people. John's like 6.
My only problem with John, and it's a very, very me being nitpicky problem, it's the fact that his voice hasn't gotten any deeper, and I know Miles has a deeper voice than that. But it's a great way to show character growth, and Adventure Time is a beautiful example of that. It's a great way to show real growth, I should say.
I'm dreading the later episodes of Bravest Warrior with Catbug. When that kid starts to grow. Catbug, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I believe
I am Catbug.
yeah, I'm waiting for deep voice Catbug. Just like, oh, Catbug, what happened to you? I don't know, but throw a blanket over it.
I'm very interested to see Jean's big moment in Ruby.
Yeah, it's like I feel like all every character is like pretty much most of the characters. I feel like at this point, especially in Team Juniper, like their whole thing is that like they're going down. Like their whole thing is that they kind of already started at the top and they're going down so they can come back up. Like that's their arc. But John, like started at the bottom, went up, went back down, and then went up, and he's still pretty much at his peak. He hasn't really gone down yet, like gone down again in terms of like a kind of character arc growth.
It's really weird that Juniper has the better team story.
It really is, because like Ruby has good individual stories, but as a team, Juniper is very complex and very interesting.
Yeah, it's like, somehow Ruby finds the individuals in the group, but like Juniper as a group,
nothing bad has happened as a group to Ruby aside from like basic plot stuff.
Yeah, like the worst we have is dead abusive boyfriend, loss of an arm, abusive dad.
And again, these are all like personal problems that just the group goes after.
Yeah. Team Juniper was, our friend got shot.
No, she got fucking Thanos snapped.
That was after she was shot.
That's true.
So both. It's like our team, like semi-team leader and best friend got shot and Thanos snapped. And now we aren't a full team and we're still trying to figure this out.
Jean is going to have a moment in Ruby at some point that is going to define his character to a T. And I think it's going to be him fighting Cinder in some capacity. It better be. I take it back. It better be, because they already fucked that scene up once.
They did. I was gonna talk about that. They got so close with the Weiss thing. They got so close.
I was talking about just Pyrrha dying. They fucked that scene up because it shouldn't have been Ruby. It should have been Jean.
Yeah. I mean, physically, like, it would have been rough for Jean to get out there, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, how would you get him up there?
How the events weighed down, it should have been both.
Yeah.
But yes, Jean should have been there. That poor boy does not get that closure. He finds out later that she dies.
He should. I mean, I feel like I do have to admit that I do like a tragedy every once in a while in a character and stuff. So I do wish Jean like literally saw the girl that he loved disintegrate in front of her.
I mean, it's
Team Juniper is just
PTSD,
tragedy. Yeah, like Team Ruby has like issues, but like Juniper just has straight up tragedy. Like both, like Nora's an orphan that also with Ren had his family killed, their entire village killed. Jean saw the love of his life not die in front of him, but then heard later that she died after they like figured it out that they wanted to be together, and then she died.
Yeah.
And now he's having to deal with that.
Like if you're gonna kill off the most important character of like a different character, like let that character see that person die. Like I want to move on from this, but like pull a Luffy holding Ace in his arms and pass out from sadness. Like that's the stuff I want. Like the character literally like passing out from how tragic it is.
I want Jean to finally have the balls to talk to Ruby about what happened.
That would make a great scene.
Because Ruby saw it, and like Ruby clearly hit the scene when Sean's going through, considering she saw him watching the video of Pyrrha going through his training.
Yeah.
Like that like Jean finding Cinder and Jean talking to Ruby about what happened. Like truly what happened. I think are scenes that need to happen for Jean's character to be realized, quote unquote. Like not finished, but to like have that character like finally there.
Yeah. Let's move on
now.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's move on from this bit. We spent a long ass time talking about Jean. My next pick mine's kind of a weird one. So this one needs to be lower on the list, and I just threw him in kind of like a mid section because I didn't know where to put him. But Madalast from Book of Bantora.
Every fucking time I think I'm out, you pull me back in. All right, bring it on. I love Madalast too, but I'm interested to see where you go with this.
He's a very... I don't like him at the beginning of the story because he doesn't get a whole lot brought up upon him and he doesn't do a whole lot. But towards the end, like, his resolve to go back and correct his mistakes and the fuck-ups that he had is a beautiful ambition. Like, his goal to turn his book into a fantastic, complex story of all these people that he, his books that he's destroyed. And I love that, and it's a very unique thing to this story because you can't really do that to other media. Like, you can't have a character that does that unless they're physically writing a book. But Madalassi is going to learn stories to record these, essentially. I loved it. His character design is interesting. His powers are great. He's,
Do you enjoy long hair Madalast or short-haired Madalast?
Short-haired. He doesn't look good with long hair. I don't like it.
I wanted long hair with the outfit that he has for short hair. Imagine it. Oh no, he'd just be Speedwagon.
Oh my god, he would be. He has the scars and everything.
He would just be Speedwagon.
Fuck.
Oh, why did I put Speedwagon on this list?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep. He's pretty short and sweet because he's pretty low on the list, but he's a very, very good character, and I like his motivations at the end. Despite him being a criminal, he's still doing it for good.
Yes. I now realize that we completely missed the joke of having Speedwagon be our ultimate.
He is the ultimate waifu.
Was it back to me already?
Yeah.
Oh my. So on the guy side from My Hero, actually, I want you to take a guess because I am interested who you think out of all the guys in My Hero who I chose.
All Might.
No.
He's a good dad. That's why I was like. He's trying.
I see where you're going.
He's trying.
Yeah.
If it isn't, I don't know. Maybe
It's a student. I will narrow it down. It is one of the students.
Shinzo.
No.
Then I have no idea.
Would you like to wager?
Todoroki?
No. It's actually Kirishima.
Kirishima's good. Kirishima has the most growth out of any of the random side characters in 1A.
Yes, that and his personality are what drove me to choosing him. Also, he barely beat out Bolin from Legend of Korra for me. I put Kirishima on, and then I thought about Bolin, and I was like, I literally had to sit there for a good 30 minutes and physically decide between the two.
Do you know what a himbo is, Jarrett?
Why does it sound familiar?
Kirishima is a himbo, now that you think about it, yeah.
What does this mean?
A himbo is a male bimbo, meaning that they're hot but dumb.
I mean, so is Bolin too. Is what's funny.
I would feel like Kaminari is definitely a higher level of himbo, but all right, yeah.
Kaminari isn't strong though. Kaminari's just dumb and perverted.
This is true. He is almost Mineta 2.0, but.
Yeah, he's kind of part of that crew, which I'm always ashamed that Sero is constantly roped into there because I like Sero, but yeah, but I like Kirishima. He's got a lot of growth. I have to say Deku. Deku is my if I had to pick a husbando from My Hero, it'd be Deku because Deku's an adorable cinnamon roll. I love him. I want to hug him. But Kirishima's a character who I would not think about, but since you mention it, if I had to if you didn't mention it, Kirishima probably would have been a fourth. But because you reminded me of how much I like Kirishima, he's definitely a second.
Yeah. I appreciate him because like despite his quirk, like he truly does try to be the shield for everyone in his group. Like granted, like some of that is because well his power is to be extremely dense, not in that way, but yeah, I like he genuinely cares for everyone. Like, and I appreciate his interesting view of the whole manliness thing, of like what he believes to be manly and not manly, and calling it out. Like to the point that if he finds something truly manly, he'll start crying about it, and he'll get extremely angry if he thinks you're a coward.
I love characters that define themselves by like liking manly things, but not in like a weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I like characters like that though, where they're like, yeah, manliness is the way of life. You know, like the romance aspect of manliness.
Yeah. I love when they take like like manliness to like a weird level where like something that's not really traditionally manly is still manly to them because it has like worth. Like they'll find a weak shy girl's getting out of her shell for a little bit. It's like, yeah, you're manly. Like those are the quote unquote manly characters I like, where they like something like that, where it's not like Axe body spray manly, but confidence manly.
Yeah.
God, I just smelt Axe.
Does it smell like a middle school locker room in here?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you smell, like if you spray or smell Axe body spray, it's just like, all right, I'm back in middle school.
Yeah, like I was definitely surprised at the amount of character development he got. Like I was never expecting it. Like I like when him and Bakugo first became kind of friends, I was like, oh, that's a funny meme, haha. And then like when they save Bakugo and he's the one that grabs Bakugo, I'm like, oh my god, like they're going like this, like he's actually like an important character. He's not just like a funny side character. Like he is Bakugo's friend.
Yeah.
And then they made an arc where he was essentially the main character. Like for a bit, Deku's not even in the story, and he's the main character.
Yeah.
And I have to say, what was, I can't remember what they say. Oh yeah, my one of my favorite moments is when the one guy's like, was it the villain? I think that said like, pick up that boy. He's like, no, pick up that man.
Yeah. Yeah, with the fat gun fight in the overhaul hideout. Yeah.
Yeah, like he lost. I keep getting Kaminari and Kirishima confused.
Yeah,
but like I just loved like how a villain saw his worth even though he lost. Like he lost, but he saw value in the strength of will that he exerted.
That entire spear and shield fight was so good, and it was like that, and I forget what he calls it, but his like enhanced hardening fight that he has with the souped up like just regular dude in the street, like right before they go into the overhaul hideout arc.
You talking about the knife guy?
Yes, yeah, the knife guy.
Also,
those both really good. Yeah, but that for me that's Kaminari. Also, I did find it funny that he beat out Bolin, and they're both semi-rock based people.
Semi-rock based himbos.
I like what I like.
Zach, to you.
Yeah. I'm kind of saving like I'm trying to like widen down like the things I like the most being towards the bottom. So like I feel like a lot of my like before I get to those are just like lazy ones. But would just say from what is it? Interviews with Monster Girls. My favorite from that is Machi, who's the Doulahan of that anime.
I love Doulahans.
Yeah, I like she's just really cute. Like she's got like a really nice design. She's got like the short orange, like short shaggy orange hair, and it constantly has like blue fire just spewing from like her body's neck. And like visually, she looks really good, and she's got like a kind of a nice character because she's like, it's not like really a romance. It's not a romance anime, but she actually does have feelings for the teacher, so they do like a lot of funny things with that. Especially when the other characters manage to convince him to hold her head. Like, but she's like very very earnest. It's nice, very nice character, like design. Also, I'm not sure. I don't think they did this on purpose, but I like the fact, like, even if they did it on accident, I like the fact that she has orange hair and she's a Doulahan, because Doulahans are Irish folklore. Mm-hmm. Like that could. I have a feeling that was probably just pure coincidence, but if they did do it on purpose, it's a really nice attention to detail. Like, if she's a Doulahan, she might just be the descendant of actual Irish.
I like those touches.
Yeah. I'll go again.
Bust it out.
Yeah. Continue by ones that I don't really have a lot to say with, but just characters I really like is I come up with this one last minute. I realized when I was talking about the girl from the Sawako. I'm thinking about another like shoujo anime character I really like is the main character of Ore Monogatari. See if I can quickly pull up his name. Takio Goda, or Goda Takio. He's the main character. He's this big, it's like big gorilla of a man.
Ah, yeah, that one.
Yeah. Not my first time talking about Ore Monogatari on here, but I just, like I said, our side character is one I talked about, his best friend. This time I'll talk about him, the main character himself. But I just love him because he's just this like a giant man, a giant unattractive man, but he's just like gentle giant, very, very kindly, and like, and when he towards the beginning of the series he falls in love with a girl, and he thinks that the girl might be in love with his best friend, being the really handsome guy, and he's like okay with that, even though he has feelings for the girl. He's like, well, if she has feelings for my friend, it was like, I'll help her with that and all that. But then she turns out to like him anyway, like the main Goda. And then they end up getting together, and they have an adorable relationship because she's this small, kind of shy girl, and he's this giant, boisterous, like ogre man. Like they go over the top with him sometimes. Like there's like an episode where he saves like a bunch of people from like a burning mall. Yeah, I think he like actually like takes someone and like jumps out of like a higher story of a building.
Huh.
And like he's really funny because he's very worried about. He's sometimes like worried about like doing things wrong in his relationship and stuff. Like he ends up he's worried that he's gonna mess up like when they eventually kiss, so he tries to practice with his best friend by like putting freaking plastic wrap over his face and kissing him. my favorite image of the whole anime is the picture of them eating macarons on the bench, where he's just like very awkward because how big he is, just eating the small little thing.
I feel that.
Yeah, and also it's just nice seeing it's very rare for a shoujo series to have the main character be a male. Like it is extremely rare, and like you could watch Monogatari without even it feeling like a shoujo anime because of how like over the top and like manly the main character is. That's all I have to say.
I love that. Moving on to me. My next would it's a Bleach pick, one of three. That's Ruki Akuchi. She's pretty much one of the main female protagonists. She's very underutilized, and I'm gonna be dipping into the manga for this one because the way her story ends is like really, it just pisses me off. It makes me a little peeved. She pretty much doesn't end up with the main character, despite everything pointing to her should have ended up with the main character.
Like most animes.
Yeah. And like, she has like an amazing arc where like she sacrifices herself, to save somebody because it's her job, and it's like, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're being sentenced to death, and she's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I did break a big law, so yeah, that's totally fine. But like, as they're like arresting her, Ichigo comes up, he's like, yo, no, I'm gonna fight you. And she's like, no, you're gonna lose and die, you should probably just leave. And then he does lose and get fucked up, but she's like begs for his life and like pleads for it, and the dude ends up like, pardoning. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna kill you now, I'm just gonna let you bleed out and die here. But he gets saved and so on and so forth. But just like her willingness to care about everybody is it's a very nice change of pace from the show, because the show's kind of grim in certain areas, but she's always very active and trying to be sure everyone's okay. Like a funny little quirk about her is like, whenever she explains something very complicated, she pulls out like a drawing pad and makes these like little drawings of like bunny characters that she made up. And like everyone always shits on how bad they are. She's like, no, they're not. They're amazing. They look great. It's like just a little fun character tidbit of her that I just really like. She's a very complex character. She's always, it's weird because she's very active in some arcs, but then in other arcs, she's very behind the scenes, and they make it very obvious that that's the case. And it's a very nice, like, hey, you don't get too tired of this character, like what I do with some other characters in this show. And then in the manga, she does get, like, quite substantially more powerful, and gets, like, some really good arcs later on that we're going to get in the upcoming anime, which I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, just short and sweet, great character. Fantastic design. Tekken 101's favorite Bleach character. Fun fact.
I mean, I can respect a choice from Tekken.
Yeah. Jarrett.
Mako Mankancho from Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be one of them.
Yeah. I love Mako. Like, her... Yeah, her personality and just dedication to her friends is just freaking admirable to just insane degree. Plus, I do appreciate someone who has a love for food, so... Yeah, it's just... the extreme lengths that she will go to for her friends is just especially in that world. It's just like you gotta be extra in that world, and she's a pleasant kind of extra. Yeah,
She's a good comic relief character in the show.
she is. You're comic relief and just a very good friend to Ryuku.
Mhm.
I just like I don't like super love Mako, but like she does like there are like some like funny things when you like delve into there. Like I do like the fact that she just sort of meets Ryoko that just like takes her in essentially. Like her family doesn't have much, but then she's like, "You can stay with us, yeah."
Very last scene of the episode is like, and I want to date with you. Oh, okay, all right. So part I always forget every time, and I'm like, yeah, no, she just straight up asked her out on a date, and right at the end, like literally right at the end, it's like, oh, okay.
Does the internet just ship the big dude, the what's his face, big dude and her?
Gamagori.
Yeah. Is that just the thing that the internet does, or is there any concrete evidence to that?
I think it mostly has to do with like their extended interactions. Like they do have a lot of interactions as two characters. Like the scene where they sit on where they're like watching Ryoko fight and they're commentating on it.
No, I'm sorry, that's the bloopers. I love the bloopers for Kill la Kill. Yeah, no, but yeah, their interactions are great as well.
We definitely talked a lot about her in the side characters episode.
Oh yeah, we absolutely did. Whoever's next.
Zach.
Yeah. Yeah. So in fact, my list is so short compared to other people. I'm just like adding, like I'm actually just like sometimes adding some as I go along, and like now I'm getting on the like, you know, I added I added the last one Goda because I was like, hey, it's like another shoujo character, and like now I'm adding this one because now I'm thinking of like a shoujo anime where the main character is a male. It has to be from Gakuin Babysitters, Ryuichi Kashima is the main character of that, and I love him like sort of in a way that I like the dad from Sweetness and Lightning, where instead of being a dad, he's just a very devoted older brother. Because him and his brother lose their parents, and then they get taken in by a woman that they don't really even know. But like he's just a super devoted older brother, like, and then he's constantly like he's leading the babysitter clubs. So he's like and he very devoted like helping the kids and all that. But he obviously cares about his brother the most. One of my favorite like moments that really shows how much he cares for his little brother is like a nightmare he has where he sees his like dad and mom like on like when they're leaving on the plane, but they decide to take his little brother as well. But he begs for them not to because he doesn't want to like lose him as well. Yeah,
He's very committed to family.
Yeah, there's like a really there's like a really funny running joke in the thing where there's a girl who's in love with him, but then all the other girls like poke fun at her by saying that she has competition with his little brother because of how devoted he is to his to taking care of his little brother. Everybody's like, oh, he has no time for love, only his little brother. Yeah, he's very similar to like the dad in Sweetness and Lightning, where he just kind of goes out of his way and just devotes all of his attention to really taking care of his little brother and being sort of the only real remaining family he has.
I like characters that are very selfless. It's a very good trait to have in general.
Yeah. But even about that, he's a pretty fun character. He's very sort of awkward. And that's funny because he can get awkward and flustered a lot. And but he's still like a nice figure that all of the the babies can like care for. Consider the fact the other two people who take care of them are more abrasive people. So he's like the kind, gentle person that they can go to. Yeah, and there's a character who there's an episode where they put him in like a wig, and then some other guy falls in love with him because he thinks that he's a girl, but he doesn't want to like ruin that for him. So like he kind of like very instead of just like being like I'm a boy, he's just like very kind of gently tries to let him down.
He's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Very good character. I actually kept reading the manga of Gakuin Babysitters because the main character is really good.
All right. Speaking of great characters, one on my list is Space Dandy, but we already talked about him, and I forgot that we already talked about him because we talked about him before the podcast as well. Then my next choice is definitely kind of an odd one, but Galco-chan.
From Galendino?
No,
from
no.
Oshiete Galco-chan.
Yeah.
Oh, something I know nothing about. Okay, go on.
You've probably seen her, like, she's both popular and not popular at the same time. The anime is very... It's short. Is it like a couple minutes an episode or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Super short. And it's pretty much just a gal, like a Gauru, just using her, like... how did the best guy ever put it? Using her thickness.
Weaponized thickness for the forces of good.
Where like she helps like a character, like multiple characters who are like kind of not really out of their shell. She's very proud of who she is and is very chill and like doesn't ever talk bad about people. And she helps people like come out of their shell or feel better about themselves or like, you know, understand certain things. And it's super nice. It's very wholesome, oddly. And like she models herself after her sister, who is like a more sexualized version of the main character, but like you never see her eyes.
Yeah, like the thing about Oshiete Galco-chan is that all of the characters, all of their names are like a pun on their character archetype, but when you learn about that character, they're like the opposite of that archetype. So like you see Galco, who wears like all this makeup and like big cleavage and all that. Like it makes her look like a stereotypical gal who's kind of slutty, but then she's literally just dressing like that to be like her older sister because she like loves her older sister. But she's like actually like super kind and always helping people.
Mm-hmm. It's very wholesome, very funny, and I love the anime in general. But she's a great character, and the best guy ever did a video on her, and it's his most popular video, I believe. Definitely in the descriptions, for somebody to check out. But yeah, she's definitely on that spot for multiple reasons.
Yeah, I love Gao characters. Like I've seen a lot of Gao and Gao characters, and like I haven't really watched Oshiete Galco-chan, but like what little I've seen, I do like her as a character. Just kind of breaking the mold of a Gao character.
Yeah, she's broken out of her mold as the archetype, and she's helping others break out of their molds, and it's very cool. Very, very sweet character. Not enough of her, honestly. It's a very short anime, and that's why I'm so mad about it. I don't have much to say because there's just no content. But yeah, Jarrett.
My next one. I was saving the last two for very specific reasons, but my next one is Riza Hawkeye from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
All right, interesting choice.
To be honest, in that show, it was honestly between her and Winry, but Riza for me won out because, well, the my entire trend that I've had for this episode of just loyalty, inner strength, and extreme dedication. Like this woman goes she is there for Mustang through everything. Whether it's her personal feelings or her job, she is always there for him.
And despite it being dated, it is a character design that you very typically go for.
That too, yes.
We gotta include those two.
This is true.
Yako Chan is there for multiple reasons.
Also, I can appreciate a woman that can take off a man's head at a mile away. No, but Brotherhood is one of my favorite animes. So and Riza was just yeah, she's a side character, but she's so important to Roy. Not just as they work well together. She is integral to him as a character. She's more or less his rock.
Mm-hmm.
Because and multiple times without her, that man would have been screwed.
Oh wait, there's an ancient Tumblr post that I gotta see if I can find. It's one of the good old ones.
That's a phrase.
Okay, here it is. It says, "Give me a self-loving man who firmly believes no one could ever love him, and a strong-willed woman who doesn't take any of his shit, and gradually becomes his light, hope, and sun and stars. And I assure you, I will ship them until my dying breath." And then it's just a picture of those two.
Yeah, no, that is extremely accurate for that. So, yeah, those are. Yeah, that is a really good way of putting it. To be honest, thank you, Tumblr. Yeah, wow, that is a really good post. Actually, that fits a lot of my thoughts together a lot more coherently than I could ever do. Yeah, now I'm also gonna leave it at that. That's too good to not. That's yeah. That.
Yes. So back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I had to, as one of my favorite franchises, I would have to. I feel like I need to include a character from Danganronpa somewhere. So, major spoilers for Danganronpa 1. I don't think I'm really gonna. I guess somewhat minor spoilers, but not that important. Of 2, but very very major spoilers for Danganronpa 1. So if you care about that, don't skip. I guess skip around. Was it Chihiro Fujisaki from Danganronpa 1?
Chihiro Fujisaki. I'm trying to remember who that is. Hold on.
The Trap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chihiro is hands down my favorite Danganronpa character, and if I had to it's hard to be super pick like a Danganronpa character. There's a lot of good Danganronpa characters. I love crap, I forgot her name already, but the gamer girl from the second one, and then Maki from the third one are some of my favorite characters. But Chihiro is always a character I come back to. Fun fact: I actually have a signed autograph of Chihiro. I got the actual voice actress signed it. I love it. But Chihiro's a great character. He's when in the series he dresses like a girl because he, as a kid, he was seen as very traditionally unmanly. So to avoid being picked on for being girly and unmanly, he just actually started to dress like a woman, and kind of kept that up. But then even though he's only around for the first 2 chapters of Danganronpa, he starts to see that he wants to improve himself because he's also kind of shy and weak and all that.
Yeah.
And so he looks to the Mondo, the biker dude, who's this over the top manly dude, and he asks him for help, of improving himself and telling his secret, and Mondo sees him as brave, that he wants to improve himself. Mondo respects Chihiro so much as a person that he, even after he kills him, he hides his secret just so he can respect him.
Yeah.
Even after murdering him, he still respected him enough to hide the truth.
Yeah, and both characters are beautiful examples of masculinity at its peak and valley, I guess. Where it's one wants to go one way and one likes being where they are, but they both respect each other enough to want to work together, and that's such a cool moment.
Yeah, I love the Danganronpa series, and two always remains my favorite chapter. Even though I think Danganronpa 1 is the has the weakest cases in any of the game, but 2 is still my favorite in the whole franchise. Because Chihiro's small little arc is so good. Mondo's trying to cover things up is always good. Togami pulling some weird shit is also I love.
Yeah. God, I forgot about the whole thing with Togami. God damn it.
But I just love Chihiro, and also Chihiro is a strangely really important character, because most characters after they die, they mostly lose their importance, but Chihiro never really loses his importance. His metaphorical blood runs through the whole series. Even after his death, he keeps being super important in the plot of Danganronpa 1. And even with his AI alter ego, and it serves an importance in even 2 and 3. So Chihiro never stops being an actual important character.
Very, very generous character in the entire franchise.
Yeah, it's just. Very, very, very cute character. I love the design. I love his extremely poofy skirt. His skirt just goes out so far for some reason.
I also like I'm not a huge fan of the color green. I don't know why. It's just not my forte. But I really like the shade of green that they gave him.
Yeah, and he's got good facial expressions, and the voice actress does a pretty good job. And I will forever cherish my autograph of Chihiro.
All right. If you're done, my next one is another Bleach character. And this one is Yoruichi Shihon, the Flash Step Goddess, I think is what they call her. God damn, is this a cool character, just with everything that exists about her. She has such mystery, and there's so many questions that you have just about what this character can do and has done that don't get answered, but it's not it's rubbed in your face so that it doesn't get answered. It's just it never gets brought up and nobody ever questions it. Every captain, because she was a captain of the Soul Society at some point, which is the big honchos that make all the rules and whatnot. And in order to be a captain, you have to have a sword, and your sword has to be able to at least reach Bankai, which is its highest level, so on and so forth. And they pretty much state there's only ever been one person that has got to captain and not had it, and you see who this character is, so you know it's not her. But they never show off what her abilities are, and they just give, all of her badass moments are just purely her merit and her ability to, do shit and put one and one together. So fucking cool, and I love it. She's probably hands down my favorite character. Also, in the beginning, she's disguised as a cat with a very deep male voice. And then just halfway through the second arc, they just drop the bombshell oh yeah, this is a woman.
That has to be the first Bleach character I've ever actually seen. Like, I remember catching Bleach on Toonami before I even knew what Bleach was, and I just vaguely remember seeing her and Ichigo. Like, she was my first exposure to Bleach.
She is another thing too. She's a very fantastic. She's a great like black character in anime because those are very rare, and some of them can be kind of racist. And like she's not, and she's just a perfect badass who also happens to be black, and it's a really cool thing that they added. And I'm like, it makes me just love this character more because she's so unique compared to everyone else. But definitely, she's a good anchor point to bring people into Bleach. If you're like, oh, I like this character design, it's like, hey, we got some other cool shit for you. Plus, she has a relationship with this guy named Kisuke, who their relationship seems like the equivalent of like old drinking buddies. And I love that they never go any further than that. Like, they don't ever try to make it romantic in any way. They're just good buddies, and they've been that way for like hundreds of years. And you always like wonder like what was their past before this, because they did say that they trained as kids to like improve. And you're like, okay, that's cool, but what does that mean? Like, what happened between you being children and now? Because they don't ever really talk about that. Fantastic character. Great character design. Purple hair. Awesome. Love it. All the characters on my list either have purple or black hair now that I'm looking at it. Except for Yoko-chan. She has blonde hair. Yeah. Strong woman. Yeah, Jarrett.
Looking at my list, I don't think any of my characters have the same hair color.
I have one outlier.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna do a bit of a combo for my last one because literally as we've been talking about this, I realized why I chose these two. And one, I realize it's someone that like I aspire to be, and then the other one is more in line with how I feel I actually am. So like for my last husbando, it's Kamina from Gurren Lagann.
Mm-hmm.
And he's what in my head what I want to aspire to be, because I want to having someone that can believe in other people so strongly like that and have an impact in such a little amount of time, and just the care and the love that just comes from him, like even though he never says like just the way he treats everyone, like he doesn't treat anyone like super different. He's just like everyone is like together in this, like we're gonna do this as like I forget if he does say family, but like we're gonna do this as the what do they call themselves in it? I hate that I don't remember this.
He does like call it their own brother or something like that.
Yeah, because he calls Simone like brother all the time.
But
Which is yeah, but I mean, like for the very short time that Kamen is even in Gurren Lagann, like his impact is insanely strong. We've talked about this well before, but like that's I don't know. Having someone to have that kind of impact is just like, and I guess just being able to believe in yourself so much that you can just channel that and put your belief in someone else into them, even when they don't maybe believe in themselves, is just really admirable and really it's just flat out cool. It's heartwarming. It's cool. I could go on and on with adjectives, but I don't.
Kamina's resolve to just be the best he can is very contagious in the series.
That Yeah, that is a fantastic point. Yeah, just wanting to be like the best you that you are is a really good lesson.
Like, as over ambitious as Kamina is sometimes, he never expects more than what he knows that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everything Simone does is very within his limits. I mean, his limits all be, you know, literally smashing galaxies together, so it kind of is a bit
Yeah.
bit of a cheat, but you know, he knows that there's something special in him.
Yeah, and despite how like loud and like bombastic he is, it never comes out as like it does come out as grandiose, but it doesn't come out as like trying to be like a show stealer. Like he is genuinely still trying to like get everyone, like pull everyone up to how he feels and what he knows that they can be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like,
It feels like he's always on the spotlight, but he's not stealing that spotlight. He's trying to bring others into the spotlight with him.
yeah,
Because like he's loud, boisterous, and like just over the top, and he just tries to bring people with him.
It's a very good way of saying that.
yeah, very good way. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of that, how more I normally feel, and the character that I definitely relate, because I find it funny that I've talked all this time about like a lot of like strong self-resolve and almost independence, and then my favorite waifu is honestly Morioka from MMO Junkie.
That is the number 2 on my list, so.
And her entire like a strong, powerful personality is more or less I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation of more or less she kind of has like edelophobia, which is the fear of not being good enough or being a disappointment, and kind of having the a lot more than I expected. It kind of causes people to overthink and overanalyze and obsess over whether they're really good enough for something or for someone. Which, like, for me, I definitely I wouldn't say for me it's a phobia, but that thought is more often than not it's there lingering somewhere. So
it's a
I
thing.
yeah.
It's a dragon you'll have to slay at some point.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you judge your self-worth and you wonder if, like, who am I really? Who do I want to be? And then you find somebody who pushes you in the right direction. And it's a very... what's a good word for it? It's a very interesting thing to happen to somebody. Because it changes their character from the ground up.
Yeah. But, I find the juxtaposition between her and Kamina, like, so... And I love that it took me until I was actually recording this for that like feeling to actually hit, and my realization to actually hit in that, because like she's so like reserved and just like she has difficulty like trying to explain and get out her feelings, and she doesn't know what to do when other people like genuinely show interest, because she's always thinking that everyone's so critical of her. Meanwhile, you have Kamina, who like he is so like well rooted in knowing what he is about that he not only realizes that in himself, but he sees that in other people, and he wants to bring that level of realization from other people into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I brought it when I was talking about this, it's not only a juxtaposition, but it's like what I want to be and where I am at, or at least where I'm starting, if that makes sense.
And it's a start for a lot of people too. Her transformation is definitely my favorite thing about her character in general. Where it's like she gets more comfortable in her own skin in a way, and she dons a persona online that makes her feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's I love the gender swap role thing going on between them, where they both play a character of the opposite sex. Yeah. And they kind of, what's a good word of saying this? They play the way that they want to be that character online.
Well.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But it's just very interesting.
Yeah. Everyone. Oh no, you go ahead.
Let's just say Kamen he's like the emotional version of being like a high level character who just drags this lower level characters through a dungeon so they can level up faster.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's that helpful guy. He's that helpful guy, and everyone's like, "Yeah, no, bro, you got this. Don't worry, I got you." And but like, yeah, like, I really want to watch MMO Junkie because like MMO Junkie is like, for a lot of different reasons, one of my favorite animes. Not just like, oh, it's my favorite romance anime, or very much it's tied up there, but it's a very well-rounded anime that I connect with on a lot more levels than I normally do. Like, yeah, I can go into anime, I can really love a character, and I can really love the art, I can really love a voice actor, but like MMO Junkie like hits on like personal levels for me, for more than just like, she's a gamer and she like likes to stay at home. She's very like socially awkward and nervous and over like analyzes and overthinks and has her weird quirks, like clean like lint rolling her carpet whenever she's nervous or is embarrassed.
The one thing that I wish is that I wish they would have gone a little bit more into depth about how she kind of chose to be alone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like she chose not to be in a relationship. I'm saying like she chose to cut herself off from society in general.
Yeah,
like
first episode is clearly she's like, yeah, I'm 30 years old and I decided to become a NEET.
It's like,
yeah. I wish they would have explained how she literally had the means to even become a NEET.
Yeah.
Because they never really explain how she even manages a financial situation. That's just a minor gripe of that anime.
Yeah, like, and they go to that one. They had a flashback of her just like walking through her door and then like kind of like collapsing. They never bring that up. They never explain what that is, and that is like my one gripe. That and her financing is like the only gripe I have about that show. Which, if you ever find I don't think that there is an anime out there that you can't have some kind of gripe about. If you find your perfect anime, great for you. But I don't feel like that there is a perfect.
The way that I look at it, and this is how I look at everything, and it's kind of a pessimistic view in some capacity, but anything you love, you should be able to tear down better than anybody else. Like, I could tell you every reason why Bleach sucks. I really can. But it's still my favorite anime.
Yeah, I could go on about all hours, all the things I hate, like that annoy the crap out of me about One Piece, but that's just because I love it so much and want it to be great.
Exactly.
I am much the same with Ruby. I was not at first. When I started to see the cracks, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And I'm like, okay, now I can get on board.
I think that's what makes the show and the characters a lot more special, is when you can point out their flaws, but still say, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
I was debating whether to talk about this character, but then Jarrett's whole thing made me want to talk about him. Then, which I feel like I might have already talked about this character in a different episode, or at least the anime that he's from, because I have a deep connection with this character, and I always like to talk about him when I can. Is the Rei Kiriyama from March Comes In Like a Lion. And I like, this is the character I like really think I like am as a person. Like, if I could like be an anime character, this is who I actually am. which I didn't have a connection with this character at first, but then a video that I love, and this is why I think I've talked about this character before, because I'm pretty sure I've referenced this, I talked about this video before, but the Pedantic Romantics video, You Do Have Value, Sangatsu no Lion, which I'm going to give Anthony the link so he can put it in the description later. Of just like I when I first watched Three Gatsu no Line, I didn't really think a lot of Ray as a character. He's just kind of this guy who doesn't really, he's very quiet, and he's just really good at like shogi. That's pretty much all he does is play shogi, and then hangs out with his family, hangs out with these like sisters. But then when I was like kind of pointed out to me that like the way he is as a character, of him having this depression and like this sort of worldview of like he puts himself away from others because he's constantly sees himself as bothering people that want to even the people that want to hang out with him. He sees himself as bothering them, and like until I watched that Pedantic Romantic video, I never really realized him as being like that. And then after seeing that, it made me have a new special connection to this character, because that's definitely how I see myself as a person. And then like a moment in the anime that like is played as a joke but always felt like such a real moment for me is a moment where the sisters that he always hangs out with, they invite him over for dinner, and their grandpa jokingly says, "Oh, he eats with us all the time." And then Ray said, like, very like nervously says, like, "Oh, okay, then I'll just go." And then the grandpa's like, "No, we want you over for dinner. I'm just playing a joke with you." And I was like, that is me to a T. I was like, that is exactly how I would act as a person. And like, it's a joke, but it was real.
Yeah. Huh. Because that's now that you say that, it does kind of match your personality a bit, where you don't feel like you want to be a burden, but like you never are. Huh.
Yeah, he's got, and like, he's got a very, very nice design. He's got like the like very shaggy black hair that like almost covers his eyes, and big glasses, and it's sort of like, even as like almost like stories told through the openings of like the first opening, him being like trapped in like a black tar he's trying to escape from. But one of the later openings, he's like literally jumping over barriers.
Is he the one that you had as your profile picture for the longest time?
Yes, he used to be my Roll20 profile picture.
Gotcha.
Like for quite a while too.
Oh, yeah. I think you had it like when I first met you.
Yeah, like when I discovered how much how much I really cared about this character, I just started to make his picture my profile pictures, because I do like his design, but I like how he is as a person.
Yeah.
And he's always constantly growing. I need to actually read the manga. So I don't think as sad as it is, I don't think there's going to be more seasons of the anime, even though I'd love to see more of this character, because he's always constantly growing. Like he started going to school and stuff in the actual thing, because he like just stopped going to school, but he's like growing due to all the people constantly that care about him, like the sisters, his old teacher, his like the people he plays shogi with. Everybody cares about him, even though he doesn't realize it himself.
It's really interesting because, like, you were saying, you were both have kind of been saying like how you see these characters in yourself a lot, and that's why you have like a good attachment to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like most of my characters are very tragic, and in a romantic aspect, being like the old-timey meaning of romantic. And it's like, I guess that's why I play a lot of D&D characters that way too. Well, not just D&D, just RPG or TRPG characters a lot, where they're very tragic and have very complex and interesting backstories, because in a way, I guess that reflects me now that I'm really looking at it. It's like my fucking real life backstory is fucking insane. Like I have done and seen stuff people won't ever do in their entire life, and it's very weird. But I guess we all have ourselves and our own characters.
Yeah. But I think it's just to kind of branch off before we get to the end, because I know I think we're very much at the end.
I have one more, but I don't know if I want to put it
You,
in now.
if you want to, you go ahead, and then I'll.
I mean, I kind of had one more. I was like, I didn't want to know if. I mean, we could. You did it as soon as we won. I just didn't really. I didn't entirely want. I was saving Ray for the second for a while because I didn't want to end with like the most depressing one.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm like, it's a good ending, but like I have my last character's very complete 180 of this.
Same.
So I guess let's end it off with a good note, I suppose.
I was gonna say that. Much like I remember because I know that a lot of our favorite episodes of this specifically is the side character episode with our very wholesome ending. I think I may have talked about this before, but why I think anime at times is a very, I don't know if therapeutic is the right word, but it's a good, like people have talked about like books and stuff having the effect of like, it allows you to look at things about yourself in a different lens that you can read better, if that makes sense. Like it can help you, like I guess get through some of the clutter because it's not you at that point, and you don't have all these like preconceived notions of yourself. When it's put through a different filter of something that's not related to you, it's easier to understand.
Well, yeah, it's that classic trope of like character A is doing something, then character B comes up, he's like, hey, my friend is doing this, how do I, it's really annoying. And he's like, oh man, that sounds really annoying. It's like, yeah, the friend is you. And he's like, oh no, it is me.
Yeah.
It's a very similar situation to that.
I appreciate how anime can be like, yeah, I don't have a better term than therapeutic at times, or at least a very good self-analytical source at times. It's like it took me till now to fully grasp the implications of both Kamina and Mori for me.
So with that, there is like so 2 through 10 on my list have pretty much been recent additions, and they all share the same theme to some capacity. Like even Dandy, for fuck's sake, he has some semblance of tragedy when it comes to like his love life, and that's why I love him. But like my number one pick.
Sorry, and then emo Dandy.
Yes, emo Dandy. No. But or is it my turn? Jarrett, do you have another one?
No. I did a combo for my end. So.
That's right. And then Zach. So yeah, it would be my turn then. So my number one pick is from Bleach again, and it is a tragic character, but they don't start out as that. It is Rangiku Matsumoto from Bleach, obviously, but bombshell character design, fucking 10. Super interesting abilities, really weird backstory, and that's like, this was like my first like anime crush when I was like fucking 13 years old. I was like, oh, she's got big titties. And then they kind of took that character in a completely different direction, because like she comes off as just like a drunk who's lazy and just chills out and drinks all day and just has fun, and then you learn that like she's actually really good at her job. She just doesn't like doing it, and she really cares about like her squad and stuff. And then like you find out her backstory, where so spoilers for Bleach, essentially 3 captains defect at some point and are like, we are going to kill everybody. And so they leave. And one of the 3 captains had a kind of weird relationship with Rangiku. And it's hinted at it, like, they don't, you know nothing about it, but like Rangiku gives him a very like betrayed look, like more so than the others. And he actually looks at her, this is like, this character has his eyes closed like Brock does, and this is the first time you see him open up his eyes, is to look at her, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Then you learn that they were like childhood friends, and that they were very, they were very good friends. They started developing like a romantic relationship to a degree, and then the big bad evil guy from Bleach ended up hurting her through like some means, and he pretty much at that point, despite him still being very young, made it his life's mission to kill him. He's like, you hurt the person I care about the most, I'm going to kill you. And so he played the long con, became best friends with that guy, waited until that guy became God, and then stabbed him in the back. Super cool scene, came out of nowhere, and you're like, what the fuck? And then, so there's a final fight where it's Rangiku versus that guy, because he's still kind of seen as evil, because they don't know about his betrayal yet. And she has to, like, she pretty much has to kill him, because there's, like, no other option. Like, he's going to die from somebody's hands, and he wants it to be hers. And she knows this. She very reluctantly does it, and it's a very, like, emotional scene, and you see her tragedy develop throughout the series, and it's so, like, poetic and beautiful in a way. Because, I mean, it's one of those things, killing the one that you love is never an easy task. But, great character, probably has some of the best episodes. They have, like, just filler episodes in general. And then her sword turns into dust, and then she can just, like, manipulate the dust, like, to attack people. Simple but effective power. But yeah, she foils off of a lot of, like, other characters too that are very straight edge, and she's very not. So it's really good. She's definitely my favorite. She's the oldest one on this list that I've, like, had a fondness for the longest. So that's why she's a number 1 spot for me. But yeah.
And then, and my final one, and I was like, I want to, because I really like Bang Dream. I talk about Bang Dream a lot, so it's like I felt like I kind of like with Danganronpa, I needed to add a Bang Dream character. And there are a couple of characters I love from Bang Dream. Like I think one of the cutest characters is Kokoro, but she doesn't really have a lot. Like, she has like 0 character development. Like, besides just being really cute and like I think she has the best design, but not my favorite. Hagumi's cute, but it's severely lacking in character development, even though she definitely has something deeper there. Misaki's a funny character and has pretty good character development, but my favorite character, and the character that really made me like this franchise in general, is the character that started as my least in a game with 25 characters. The character that started as the character I liked the least, and then became the character I liked the most. That's Sayo Hikawa. And like, I really didn't like her as a character, because in her band, Roselia's band story, she is just hands down the worst character. Like, what little we get to see of her, she's this super, like, strict, serious character who's, like, obsessed with being perfect at the guitar, and just, like, is rude and dismissive of her twin sister that just wants to spend time with her and loves her. Like, we get to see, like, no good of her, really, in their Brazilia's band story. She's just, like, a overall really bad character. Mm-hmm. but like very soon she's like Bang Dream actually has like like a story that like an overarching kind of story even throughout the events of and characters grow as people, and Sayo is the biggest example of that, of her like she grows to care about her sister, like they have some pretty good moments and even like some like nice like little backstory that like of things they did together as kids. And like we get to see like her grow more and more. Like we get to see her like smile a lot more. She was always so serious, but she smiles more. And then later on we get to see like she stops taking the guitar so seriously, because she always like she's one of those characters that like she's good at the guitar but doesn't have her own style. It's like very by the books, which is a thing that happens sometimes in anime. A character who's like good at a thing but they're not the best because they don't have their own presence in it. It's just by the books. But she starts to learn it, stop taking it so seriously, because she literally learned the guitar because she wanted to be good at something, because her sister is naturally talented at everything she does. So she wanted, and like everything her sister does, like Hina, her sister, copies everything Sayo does because she just wants to hang out with her. But Sayo is mad at Hina because Hina's always better at whatever she wants to do.
It's a very interesting long con for a character.
Yeah, and then so like she learns the guitar, and obviously Hina does the guitar too, and Hina's just naturally good at the guitar. And Sayo is once again mad about that. But then when Sayo learns that she really does care about Hina, she decides to actually stop being so by the books and have her own style to the guitar. So obviously she like kind of dips down and like not being as good as she once was, but having her own presence with the guitar. And like there are like character introductions in the game, and like you can see the original like beginning of the game character introductions, and the and then they made new character introductions which came out like in the second year of the game, and you could definitely see the difference in the two versions of Sayo, of like the first one being this like disciplinary committee student who's just like, Roselia is going to be the best, that's all I care about. And now she like smiles. It was like, I'm learning the guitar, and I'm spending more time with my sister.
It's very good. Very good to see character growth is always important for characters in general. Horrible.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Bang Dream was so complicated.
I know, right?
I've seen stuff about it, and I've seen you play it a lot, but I didn't know it was that much story in it for one character, let alone.
Yeah, like there's a lot of great things. Like their birthday, like people get birthday comics, and her and Hina's birthday comic are mirrors of each other, where they both remark how they don't like their names because Hina has something to do with the sun, and Sayo has something to do with the night. So they both remark that they don't like their names because it was like, what was it? It's like I don't like being the sun because I can't be with the night, and I don't like the night because the sun always blocks out the night.
So but good old fable.
Yeah, but it was like, and then they but they learn that they can be together in their own way.
Huh. I like it.
Yeah, it was like I've never had such a drastic turn, like a drastic change in feelings of a character. I've never hated a character and then loved them, or the opposite. Like I've never had such a drastic turn in how I felt about a character.
I can't say I've ever had a character flip like that for me, at least.
think I may have one, but I don't remember. I'm not 100% certain.
Huh. Well, all right. Any final words, closing statements?
No, not for me.
Ultimate Waifu?
Hell yeah. All right. Gotta pull up the intro or outro. Fuck. Already fucking this up. Thank you for joining us. You can find links to everything linked up, along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month. We'll occasionally have a special episode. Special episode up right now. Go check it out. It's us playing Ultimate Waifu. Fun game if you haven't heard about it. I don't know which channel it's going to be on. Probably this one, but we'll see. Next time, be sure to join us, for we will be talking about harems.
Alright, here we go again, boys.
The cursed episode that the only episode we've ever lost. Fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully this one will be fraught with disaster.
I hope so.
And the next, this was a special episode for the romance month special. So yeah, we got the special Ultimate Waifu episode, and then we got the harem episode for our second special episode, which is going to be the day after Valentine's Day.
So hope you all have a good Valentine's Day, and we'll see you the day after.